All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today for Saturday, March, I think 13th, 12th, 13th, or 14th. I don't really know what the actual date is, but I know it's Saturday. And if you're new here, I just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my channel. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you want to find out which one of these picks I make here today are also being featured on my premium content, you may want to check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and dive into some free content here on YouTube. We're going to start with the Knicks taking on the Thunder, and that's going to be a 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The New York Knicks are minus 4.5 with a total at 207 juice to the over. And if you like OKC on the money line here, they're plus 165 for an upset win at home. And guys, despite another pretty lackluster day on my Patreon website, we did in fact improve to 6-0 in our last 6 extra daily pick tier package plays on that Patreon page. And access to the extra daily pick is just $2.99. That's going to make it 17-1 in our last 18 extra daily picks in that very same tier membership. Red hot right now in that package. And if you want to join the 1,275 members who are currently signed up and active on that page, link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Thunders won just 7 of 18 at home this season, just 38% against the spread in those home games as well. OKC currently finds themselves 5 games below 500, and they're in the bottom 5 in the NBA in scoring. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's out for today with a quad. He's their leading scorer. Darius Bazley's also sitting this one out as well. They're taking on a Knicks team who leads the NBA in defensive field goal percentage, and they also hold their opponents to just 32% shooting from beyond the arc when they travel. Now, the Knicks also lead the NBA defensively in points allowed. They're giving up just 104 points per contest when they travel as well. Julius Randle scoring nearly 23 points a game for New York, 11 boards and 5 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, R.J. Barrett's scoring over 16.5 points a game himself, along with 5 rebounds and a couple assists. New York's winning over 63% of their ball games when favored. And when it comes to the total on this one, New York's last 3 straight got over the number, 5-1 of the over in their last 6. Meanwhile, OKC saw 3 out of their last 5 get over the line themselves, 70% to the over in their last 10 meetings with New York. I'm going to lean toward the New York Knicks minus 4.5 and the over 207. Next contest, it is going to be Raptors Hornets, 7 o'clock East. The Charlotte Hornets are minus 2.5, totals 234, juice to the under. Now, Charlotte's on a 2-game winning streak, 3-1 straight up in their last 4. The Hornets have also got themselves a winning record at home thus far, and they rank in the top 10 defensively in home points allowed. Gordon Hayward scoring 21 points a game along with 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Meanwhile, Terry Rozier's also scoring over 20 a night himself, 3 rebounds and 3 assists for the veteran guard. Charlotte is in the top 5 in defending the 3-ball at home, and they also give up just 108 points a game at the Spectrum Center. Now they're taking on a Raptors squad who's on a 3-game losing streak themselves, and they also posted a record of just 1-5 straight up in their last 6. Now, the Raptors are currently dead last in the league in offensive rebounding. They're also in the bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage. And even worse for Raptors fans, Toronto's still going to have to go to work here today without the likes of Anunoby, Siakam, and Van Fleet. That's a lot of points that they're kind of leaving on the table there. Now, total-wise, like I was just saying, really not sure who's going to do much of the scoring here for Toronto. They did also see contests with Philadelphia, Minnesota, and Milwaukee recently stay under the line. Meanwhile, Charlotte's coming fresh off a game with Detroit that stayed nearly 20 points below the posted number themselves. The Charlotte Hornets are also 11-7 in the under on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the Charlotte Hornets minus 2.5 and the under 234. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Bucks versus the Wizards. 7 p.m. Eastern start time in D.C. The Milwaukee Bucks are minus 11 with a total at 240.5. But as good as they've been this season in many different facets, The Bucks have actually failed to cover the number in 3 out of their last 5 ball games. And one more thing to add to that, they currently have a losing record on the road. That's right. The Bucks have a losing record when they travel. Now, even worse than that, out of Milwaukee's 17 road games thus far in the season, they successfully covered the point spread in just 6 of them. Not very good there. Now, the Bucks are also in the bottom 5 in the NBA in offensive free throw percentage, bottom 3 in defending the 3-ball on the road as well. And believe it or not, Milwaukee's opponents are making 40% of their three-pointers against them when they travel. Now, Milwaukee's taking on a Washington team who went 60% against the number in their last 10 ball games. They're in the top 5 in the NBA in home scoring. Bradley Beal is dropping over 32 points per contest, along with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Meanwhile, Russell Westbrook scoring 20 a game himself, along with 9 rebounds and 9 assists as well. Now, when it comes to the number in this one, Washington is 11-7 to the over at the Capital One Arena. Milwaukee went 4-3 to the over in their last 7 themselves. The Bucks are also 21-16 to the over for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward the Washington Wizards plus 11, keeping this one close, and the over 240.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Pistons versus the Nets. This might be another, a slaughtering here, but you never know. Now, this is a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Brooklyn Nets are the 11-point favorite at home. We got 2 games with an 11-point spread thus far. Numbers 226 flat. Now, the Nets are currently on a 3-game winning streak, 11-1 straight up in their last dozen. The Nets have won 14 of 20 at the Barclays Center, and they find themselves in first in the NBA in scoring on average per game. Kyrie Irving's averaging over 27.5 points per contest, 4 rebounds, 5 assists for the NBA champion. Meanwhile, James Harden is scoring over 25 a night himself, 7 boards, 8 assists for the multi-time All-Star. Brooklyn scores over 121 points a game, and they make 41% of their three-pointers. Now they're taking on a Pistons squad who won just 4 of 21 away from home this season. They also went just 2-8 straight up in their last 10 at any location. The Pistons are dead last in defensive field goal percentage on the road, bottom 5 in road offensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Detroit's last 3 did get over the posted total. 12-9 to the over when they travel. Meanwhile, the Nets are 12-8 to the over on their home court. 25-13 to the over for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward the Brooklyn Nets minus 11 and the over 226. Next ball game, it is going to be Kings, Hawks, 7:30 Eastern start time. The Atlanta Hawks are minus 4 with the total at 238. Now, the Hawks are on a 3-game winning streak, playing some pretty good basketball here over the past week or so. Top 10 in the NBA in offensive rebounding. Trae Young is scoring over 26.5 points a night, along with 4 rebounds and 9 assists. Meanwhile, John Collins is also getting nearly 18 a night himself, along with 7 rebounds. The Hawks currently lead the NBA in defensive three-point percentage at home. They're holding their opponents to just 33% shooting at the State Farm Arena. Now, the Hawks are taking on a Sacramento squad who won just 3 out of their last 10 themselves, and they really just haven't played all that well away from home this year. Out of their 16 road games, the Kings have gotten the W in just 6 of them, and they rank dead last in the NBA in points allowed. Sacramento gives up 120 points a game, and they allow their opponents to make 40% of their three-pointers. Hassan Whiteside also remains out for Sacramento. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, Sacramento saw contests with Houston and Detroit stay under the line within the past few weeks, believe it or not. Meanwhile, the Hawks saw 2 out of their last 3 stay under the line themselves. Throwing out the Toronto game, I'm going to lean toward the Atlanta Hawks minus 4 and the under 238. All right, next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Blazers, T-Wolves, 8 o'clock East. The Portland Trailblazers are minus 5, totals 234 flat. Now, the Blazers are 6 games above 500 right now, winners of 3 out of their last 4 contests. Portland's an impressive 12-6 against the spread away from their home court this year, and they also rank in the top 10 in road scoring. Damian Lillard is dropping 29.9 points per contest, basically 30 points a game, along with 4 rebounds and 8 assists. Meanwhile, Gary Trent Jr. is dropping over 15 a night himself, along with a couple of rebounds. And the Portland Trailblazers, let's try that again. The Portland Trailblazers have gone 13-6 straight up when favored. They're taking on a Minnesota squad who's just 8-29 straight up overall for the season. If my math is correct, that's 21 games below 500. That's terrible. 8-29 straight up overall for the season. And they only got the W in just 4 of 17 home games. Minnesota's in the bottom 3 in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 3 in points allowed defensively. Now, total-wise, Minnesota's 5-1 to the over in their last 6. Portland's 3-1 to the over in their last 4. Give me the Portland Trailblazers -5 and the over 234. Next contest, Pacers-Suns, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Phoenix Suns are -7 with the total at 224. Phoenix is on a 5-game winning streak, 8-1 against the number in their last 9. The Suns are in the top 3 defensively in points allowed, top 3 in defending the 3-ball. Devin Booker scoring over 25 points a night along with 3 rebounds and 4.5 assists. Meanwhile, Chris Paul scoring 16 a game himself along with 4 rebounds and 8 assists as well. The Suns are 12-6 straight up on their home court this season. They're also making 49% of their field goals there. Phoenix is taking on a Pacer team who's covered just 8 of 18 on the road. And they also find themselves with a record of just 1-6 straight up in their last 7. Indiana is currently 4 games below 500, and they rank in the bottom 3 in the NBA in offensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Indiana's 70% to the over in their last 10, 12-6 to the over when they travel. Meanwhile, the Suns are 70% to the over in their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns -7 and the over 224. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Mavericks versus the Nuggets, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Denver. The Denver Nuggets are -1.5 at home with the total at 226. And if you like the Mavs in an upset on the road here, they're +105 for some money line cash. Now, Dallas is playing just .500 basketball on the road this season. They're in the bottom 10 in offensive rebounding. The Mavericks have also been victorious in just 6 of 14 when catching plus money. Not doing so great as the underdog. They're taking on a Denver squad who's currently 7 games above 500. And they find themselves smack dab in the middle of a 5-game winning streak. Denver's in the top 3 in offensive field goal percentage, top 5 in scoring. Nikola Jokic is scoring 27 points a game along with 11 boards and 8.5 assists. Meanwhile, Jamal Murray's dropping 21 a night himself, along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists as well. The Nuggets are making nearly 40% of their three-pointers as a unit. And when it comes to the number in this one, Denver's last 3 straight did stay under the posted total, 6-3 to the under in their last 9. Meanwhile, 2 out of Dallas's last 3 stayed under the line themselves, 6-2 to the under in their last 8. I'm going to lean toward the Denver Nuggets -1.5. And the under 226. And with that, guys, we are going to dive into our quick pick recap. Once again, powered to you by my Patreon website, where we are 6-0 in our last 6 extra daily picks on that Patreon page. We're also 17-1 in our last 18 extra daily picks in that very same category. I like the Knicks -4.5 over 207. Charlotte -2.5 under 234. Washington +11 over 240.5. The Brooklyn Nets -11 over 226. Atlanta -4 under 238. Portland -5 over 234. Phoenix Suns -7 over 224. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the show here, please feel free to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up by smashing that like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Give me the Denver Nuggets -1.5. and the under 226. Now, guys, one final reminder here that all the content on my YouTube channel is for entertainment purposes only. I don't make any guarantees of any kind. With that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Kevin Etandu, 201 Lifestyle, Scott Kaler, Gio Lopez, Hanson Dardanak, Ziggy 007, Juan Gomez, your boy Bert, Mr. Brewer, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend and Patreon patron, David Gott. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.